You're tuned into Full Service Radio.
Full Service Radio.
Full Service.
Full Service. Full Service.
Full Service Radio. Hey everyone, it's Melissa, and you're tuning into the Edible Activist Podcast. This show highlights Black and brown edible activists in the food and farming space. And no, not that kind of edible you're probably thinking about. We're talking about food activism and stories that are taking us back to the land. As the creator of Food Talks DC, I travel the DC area and beyond to document personal food journeys, anecdotes, and perspectives from everyday people on topics related to health, tradition, environment, food justice, culture, and more. Every week, I will bring in a special guest to hear their personal food journey firsthand and learn how they are channeling edible activism in the DC area, everyone. We don't promote people, we tell stories and empower communities. So today on the show, I'm happy to bring back Chef Khepra.
All right. Yeah.
Well, part two, chopping it up.
Chop, chop.
He came back. I'm so excited. Conversations were so good last time. Yes. I said, you know what? We need a part two.
Right.
Maybe even a part three.
Part three.
But I'm really excited to have you back. And last time we got into the crux of who Khepra is. I wanted to know his autobiography. You know, he's like I said, I've seen Khepra out in the field at festivals and everything. But who is Khepra? Right. You know, he took us back to New York where he grew up. You know, he told us about how he was influenced by KRS-One and, you know, just all the conscious rap and, you know, just kind of inspired his food journey. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing a bit about your family and what that looked like back in the home. Mm-hmm. But we want to get into some deeper conversations about food and healing and your actual work. Yeah. So last time he gave me this really awesome book called Paradise Health, which I'm almost halfway through actually. I just started reading it yesterday.
Right. Yeah, it's a relatively easy read, very conversational.
It is. Thank you.
So yeah, I think that a lot of people have told me like, wow, I read it in like a day or two.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, okay, maybe I should have made it a little more complex.
That's not a bad thing,
right?
But I was also going to say, I was also going to tell you as I was reading the book, I appreciate that there weren't too. I mean, there is some science behind it, but it wasn't to the point where I'm like Googling every single thing. Well, it was relative.
Actually, you touch on a great point because, I'm an engineer by school trade.
He's a tech guy. I told you guys that.
So very much a scientist in that way. But when I approach health, especially the nutrition of health, I like to look at it much more holistically. I respect scientific study, but at the same time, you know, to quote Einstein, you know, he said, imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yes.
And I take that as to be basically that these studies and things can really be limiting. And I think with our, you know, once we challenge our minds and open our minds to the possibilities of what is and what isn't. So a lot of these things are not, you know, like you said, I mean, you touched on it. You hit a great, because I really pride myself on really looking beyond the science and saying like, okay, this is what really makes sense, and I trust that. Versus like looking at 1,000 people and we trying to set a control group and we're going to do this to these people and this to this people for 10 years, you know. Yeah. So, you know, things like the China study, which was a huge, extensive study.
And that's a complicated read, but it was a great read.
Right.
It took me a long time to get through that book.
So that's a great example of like, you know, an extensive study, which was very conclusive. But at the same time, my book is more or less on like, okay, this makes sense, and this is why, from my perspective.
Yeah. and you say from your perspective and in your opinion. You guys have to get this book. So, like I said, I'm always almost halfway through. And just to kind of like give you an idea for some of the chapters in the book, he talks about fasting and feasting, weight loss, weight gain, the business of water. We talked about water. We talked about his only source of water, coconut water. Okay.
Right.
I tried to get a coconut today, guys. Delivery's coming, couldn't make it. Next time, I'll just go to the juice bar to do that.
There you go.
Coconut water, nature's master cleanse. Like that, take us to paradise health, what you call paradise health.
Yes.
You said when you are ingesting and consuming food, Mother Nature's food, we are essentially ingesting paradise health, or what you define that for people. And what they can...
you know, my journey, I want to really touch back on like my journey in terms of, and this really will answer, not only answer your question, but also tie in the coconut water as my only water, because one of the things, like when I really started this, again, I was on a really just deep calling, and I was fasting. That was like my first thought. I need to fast. And of course, I mean, you know, basically I didn't know what I was doing. So I was doing, you know, I would do like spring water, I would do distilled water. And, you know, I was basically just trying different things. And like for example, there was a huge difference between spring water and distilled water. Huge.
Yes.
Because, you know, distilled doesn't have anything, you know, so it's almost like just being on the breath. So, you know, I was trying these things, and what was happening, you know, I was doing a week, 2 weeks, longer. And when my experiences with fasting with water, what would happen is I would do the fast and get the benefit, but then once I would begin eating, I would lose control and I would overeat. It was almost like if I fasted for a week, then the next week I had double the food to make up for
I haven't had food in a whole week. I'm going in.
So it really...
And that's real talk.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing.
And I've seen people do that. I've seen people do these extended fasts, and only to break the fast, and then, you know, have lost weight because that was one of their goals. And then when they start back eating, they have, you know, a month or two later, they have gained not only all the weight back, but then have more weight. So I said, you know, I knew that something wasn't right. And at that particular moment, I said, you know what? I'm eating all raw food, all raw plant-based food, so I'm good with that. That I don't need to fast. This is extreme enough. Okay. And a few years later, when I met my teacher and he introduced me to the coconut water, that changed the whole game for me, because not only did I replace that with my spring water, when I fasted with the coconut water, it was a night and day difference. Like even with fresh juices, it was night and day, because when we look at coconut water, and I don't know if I reference this in my book, but when I talk about coconut water, it is a whole food. See, yes. Science can't really, I mean, you know, you can look at the nutrients, all that, but with juice, you have to separate it from the fiber. Yes. With water, unless you're getting it from the natural spring in its raw state, because there's a thing now that's called raw water, because the water you buy in these fancy bottles has been processed, and they add chemicals and preservatives. Yep. But there is a thing called raw water. So unless you're doing that, which nobody, especially nobody in the city,
right? Exactly. Maybe down south.
You know, the coconut water, it's a whole food as a water, a whole food. So what does that also do? Well, what that does is it also goes through your intestines. It will clean out your colon.
It will wipe me out.
Right. You don't need an enema. You don't need a colonic. You don't need herbs. I mean,
And you talk about I remember you did, and you referenced, we talked about the Beyonce diet and the Beyonce lemonade the last time.
Right.
And when everybody was on this whole Beyonce lemonade kick, they also
they're
suggested
trying to mimic
that,
coconut water.
Well, but also it was like, it was suggested that you also take a smooth move and some other stuff. And I'm like, well, if it doesn't work on its own, then what is the purpose?
Yeah, I mean, basically, because you're taking water, you're adding maple syrup or sweetener, so you're trying to give it some energy. Sugar is energy. So you're trying to, and then you add the cayenne because you want to induce movement, and then the lemon or lime. Because for the vitamin C, you're trying to mimic coconut water, and the thing without these aggressive substances, and then on top of that, you want to do a tea, which is now herbs. They are good, but they're like a colonic. It can become a crux. So when you're doing coconut water, now you're allowing your own body to cleanse itself, to do it on its own volition, its own power, and when you do that, it becomes this way more healing, versus like bringing in something that's going to force your body to respond. Now, one of the things that can happen, especially with the intestines, is that some people, especially if and it doesn't happen a whole lot, but like you may get diarrhea. That's like you want to welcome that. The channels are open.
Tweet, as Oprah would say.
And usually when you have diarrhea, you also have vomiting. Both doors the door is open from both sides, and yes, and people think, something is, in our germ driven society, people think that is some kind of something they ingest. No, this is your body acting with intelligence. This is your body correcting what has been wronged for your entire life.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So that's really, when we talk about paradise health, we have to go there. We have to go where our body is doing these kinds of things, with fasting. And then it's like the next layer is, you do your fast, because like I said, you start fasting with the coconut water as a base. It can be the only thing you use, but what's nice is like, there's so much other plant-based fresh juices that we can enjoy. We're just coming off watermelon season. As we go into fall, it's more about actually, as we go into winter, that's citrus.
Yes.
So we get into the oranges and the tangerines.
The grapefruit.
So it's like, and then coconut is year round. So it's like, we use the coconut water, and then we look at the seasons to determine which juices we can complement with the coconut water. And doing that, you really can look forward to the fast and enjoy the fast, because the thing is like, you start doing that, and really, what I present in the book is a kind of just a lifestyle system, a cycle that we follow, where it's like, okay, I don't fast once and it's over. No, we fast. We actually fast every day, especially in the evening when we sleep. We're on the breath.
Yes, we do.
We're not drinking unless you wake up and you want to get some kind of thing, which is not recommended. But one of the things that one of the things that I talk about in my classes, like we can break the day up into three 8-hour periods, and the first period is the night. The night becomes before the day. So that period is roughly between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. And this is the fasting cycle. That's when the sun goes down. We really should go to sleep somewhere around that time. And
8 p.m.?
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Okay.
Now, if we're...
I had an 18-hour day yesterday, okay? I was up at 4.
Ideally.
And I didn't go to bed till 10:30.
But see, if we were closer to the equator...
Alexa looked at me.
No, but if... Like when I've traveled to the Caribbean and Brazil, when I've been closer to the equator, I can't stay up past 9.
Really?
I cannot stay up past 9. The sun is so intense during the day in those areas.
That is true. Your energy just doesn't...
Well, what happens is that it induces so much of the melatonin.
Is that why everybody walks around sun-kissed and those...
But melatonin is what people take to go to sleep. But when you're in an area where the sun is so intense during the day that it knocks you out because it's inducing that melanin naturally. Yeah. And so by 8, when that sun goes down, you go down with it.
I never thought of that.
You go down with it. And like, especially when I was in Brazil, because you're like on the equator. You know, I was in Salvador Bahia, and I wasn't in the Amazon equator, but I was close as I've ever been.
Man.
And literally, the activity in the city was around the sun. I mean, everything pretty much shut down at 6 o'clock.
Oh,
but at 5 a.m., the sun is up and people are up and activity is going. This is more of when we're in tune really with the natural. But you know, we're off the equator. But ideally speaking, in terms of the three periods, we got the fasting period, which is from 8 p.m. 4 a.m. So what's happening here is like the body is repairing, the body is correcting itself. We're resting. The rest brings on the rejuvenation. That is the healing. The next cycle, when we wake up, 4 a.m. to 12 noon, which we're currently in right now, is the elimination. So this is the period where our body is looking to eliminate. So bowels, urination, and the thing is like during this phase, it is ideal to not eat heavy food. We want to drink. We want to. If you're used to drinking a gallon or a half gallon of water a day, you should drink it all within this period. Between because that should be the only thing that you put in your body from 4 a.m. to 12 noon. There shouldn't be anything physical, as in liquid. Physical fiber that your body has to, right? Because the thing is like it's just like when you're in a house and you're cleaning. You can't build and clean at the same time.
You're right.
You have to clear out and then put back together. So the clearing out phase is that first part of the day. That's why breakfast is not the best, but the worst meal of the day. The worst meal. Most people have their coffee because they don't have no energy. Yeah. They don't have no energy because they eat too much. Yeah. They wake up and they get a jolt from the bagel or the waffle, some starch, and they drown it with the caffeine. And
I don't know how I was living my life some years ago, especially when I lived in New York City. Because let me tell you, while on my way on Wall Street to work, I would go get my sandwich with my egg white. I thought I was being healthy with my egg white, the cheese, whatever else they were. And then by 11:35, 37, I was hitting the screen, because like I was, but I don't even know how like I'm still like alive.
Well, that's the thing. So most people eat that and they're able to process it and have energy because one, they're just coming off the fast, so that's the true energy right there. So but you're already inducing your asking the digestive system to do so much. Yeah. And then a few hours later, you follow that right with lunch, and the breakfast is still right on the stomach. So now you put lunch right on top of breakfast, and then on top of that, you're not out doing construction. You're not doing manual labor.
We're just hanging around.
Right. Everybody's
at
their desk. Right. They're at their computer. So what ends up happening? You become extremely. You're wiped out. You can't function because your body is being overworked. The digestive system is being overworked.
Real quick. So for those who are just tuning in, I'm chatting here with Chef Khepra Anu, who is the owner and operator of Khepra's Raw Food and Juice Bar. And then those who are hearing about elimination and crapping in the morning, so let's just like break it down, right? He's a raw foodist, so we are talking a little bit about his book, which is called Paradise Health, and just like all the essentials of what fasting and feasting is about in his perspective, and why he believes coconut water is like the master cleanse. So just FYI, we're gonna keep going for a few more moments, and we're gonna take a quick break. But I want to double back and ask you, because you made some interesting statements in the book when we're talking about elimination, and especially for women. And we love our bodies, we love our curves, but we don't want to lose that. So when we think about like fasting and eliminating, I'm like, I don't want to lose my hips. I don't want to lose that curvature, if that's a word. Like, especially when you're out at festivals, and like I said, I've seen you in action with the coconuts. Like, what are those conversations like with women who have like, and those are legit questions.
Just yesterday, somebody was in my shop. It's like, I like to gain. I've been losing weight. What can I do? I work out. I'm trying to put on about 5-10 pounds. Well, I told her, look, it's about health first. And God made your body the way, some women and some men, but generally more women are what we call more moist, and versus like men being more dry. So when you're more dry, essentially it's like saying your metabolism is higher, so you process food, so you tend to be more on the slim side versus like somebody who has a slower metabolism is more moist. They can put on weight very easily.
I can eat a grain of rice and then I'm 10 pounds heavier the next day or the next moment. The challenges of being a woman.
Yes, it's very tough. It's very tough. But the thing is like part of it, and I have to say this, is like it's because we wear clothes. So it's not so much how our body, we wear clothes.
Okay.
So it's not so much how our body looks, because if we were to all be nude or mostly nude, we would want to be slim.
In 2018, you think so, Cabra?
Yeah, because the thing is like you can cover up a lot with some spandex.
You really can.
And some they got the girdles and
they got everything.
But if you had to see, like, because even a woman, let's say, who's very curvaceous, right? When she take off her clothes, it may not look as good as it did if it were real talk. So yeah,
I'm only laughing. Oh my goodness.
Hey, and so part of it that's part of it.
Okay,
that's part of it. The other part of it is just, I think we just have to appreciate just natural beauty, just on a whole level. Women are the masters of illusion. It's called Maya, illusion, and that's a wonderful thing. However, I think some women can take it too far, and I think with, again, being about the health first, and then the vanity and the look. Because if you're about the health first, you also want to think about longevity. Longevity is important, because like say, this happens with men too. Men want to beef up, especially men that are more on the thinner side. So the thing is, like, they want to get some muscle mass, and that comes at a price. You think that, okay, that man that looks healthy, but you look at professional athletes, and their careers is based on building their bodies up and getting maximum performance. And a lot of these athletes don't live long, healthy lives. And a lot of times the sacrifice that they put themselves through to get the maximum from their bodies comes at a heavy price.
Yeah.
And so with the women and the men is very similar. So really being about longevity and not worrying about your weight, not worrying about, okay, I want to be healthy. That's important to me. That trumps the idea of how I look. And so the thing is just about, because I told the woman yesterday, she's like, I was like, why you want to gain weight? You look fine. Oh, I don't fit in my clothes. I was like, well, you got to get new clothes. So, one of my cousins.
You know how challenging it is to find a good pair of jeans, Khepra, especially for a woman. It's hard work, okay?
Well,
but you know what? You're right. I mean, it really is health first, and as a woman. Who
it's about feeling good.
I'm not walking around here voluptuous or anything like that, but I'm not trying to walk around looking like a stick either.
Yeah,
so.
But if you feel good, you will look.
You will look good. You better say it.
And that's when I say health, I'm saying how do you feel? Because I used to be bulked up. Back in college, you still
got the shoulders though.
I mean, but that's my frame. That's my natural frame. This is me. This is natural. I do yoga, and most times it's just once a week. Yeah. Maybe twice a week some weeks if I'm feeling good. But it's all about even my workout regimen. I go by how I feel. Yeah. I was one of those where, I was a workout fanatic. Like I was working out, I had to work out 3-4 times a week, and then on the off days I was doing something else. I was doing too much, So now, and maybe just because I'm older, I don't know, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's all about how I feel. Yeah. Like if I feel sore, I'm not working out. No. I'm healing. I'm letting the body rest, rejuvenate. If I'm feeling like antsy and energetic, I was like, okay, it's time to work out. It's time to.
That's a really good point, and I think everybody should live by that. But some people are just in a anxious to have a certain body frame and to achieve certain, which is fine. But we also have to be healthy and heal ourselves and know when it's time to sit and rest. So we're gonna take a quick break, and part 2 with Chef Khepra, Paradise Health. I'm loving it. I hope you guys are too. So we'll be back in just a few minutes because we don't have too much longer, and I could stay here all day, like I said, and chat it up. Guys, we're back. Melissa here, the Edible Activist Podcast with Chef Khepra New. For those who are tuning in, go visit his juice bar. He's on 8th Street. I know you're moving soon. We're celebrating the anniversary, but they're open. Eat some live juice, some raw juice, some raw lasagna. I'm telling you, if I don't tell you anything else, get some of that lasagna. If you have some, if it isn't sold out, because I know it's kind of a popular item. So, but anyway. So what has your journey revealed to you being on this, not just as a raw foodist, but it's spiritual work, as my work evolves, this is all spiritual, it's not just work. It's a evolution, it's revelation, it's mental. It's what has this all revealed to you?
Well, it's, in addition to it being my destiny, it's my path, this is my life work, it's a responsibility. It was really easy for me to, once I started doing this and I really adopted it as I got married to it, as I like to say. It was really easy. And because of that, I was making food and it was tasting good.
Hey.
And I would do classes, and then it was just like you could almost see like, okay, restaurant, and it was like, okay, that's the last thing I want is a restaurant. I mean, because just knowing how I am and how, I'm so passionate about it and so serious about how it should look and how it should be and how it should taste. I was like, man, I would kill myself trying to make this thing perfect. But you grow and you understand, and the responsibility comes not with just providing the service, but it also comes to my staff and my employees who I train and I build up and I develop and I see them grow. And it's just become an awesome responsibility, to one, provide the service, to educate, to inspire, but also to lead and in every which way, not just as a manager and the owner of a business, but a community. And we're really trying to be the healthy outlet. The healthy, it's like, a lot of people who get into this, who especially, kind of the American way is to, we stress education. And education at the end of the day is a fantastic thing. But what's happened in our American society is that too many people are trying to do too much without doing anything. What I mean by that is basically, it's like everyone wants to become a doctor, as an example. It's a doctor, lawyer, engineer, okay? But are you really doing anything other? But it's all books and it's all academic. There's nothing, we've lost the art of working with our hands, doing things like.
Just say we become lazy, Khepra.
Well,
we have become lazy.
We've become lazy in a sense because we're channeling that energy. It's so much academic, and the thing is like, once upon a time, the United States, we produced a lot of the things that we use.
Yes.
Now everything is made in China. Everything is made in Mexico, and not to say that, but the thing is like that. That's been a overriding consciousness because it's like I said, I went to school to become an engineer, and again, we rarely used our hands or did anything. It was all books. It was all the mind. It was all information, and not that was a bad thing. It just was, I feel, unbalanced and imbalance. So now, when somebody is sick, you go to the doctor or you're looking to try to get guidance. The doctor can only tell you what they think that you should do. But if you're trying to go the alternative route, which is like fasting and diet, lifestyle changes, you have to come to me. So it's like, who's really the doctor? Is it the person telling you what you should do? And they may not even be doing it themselves.
Harper, sometimes I feel like I'm the doctor. Not because I'm healing, not because I'm, not because I know everything or I know what's going to heal me, but I know my body, So like I'll go when I do go to the doctor, because I'm not going to lie, I know my body. So for someone to tell me this is what's wrong with you and this is why, no, I know why this is happening. So sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm the doctor.
Right.
But that I got to go to Chef Khepra and say I need healing.
Right.
I need X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So you guys can't see this, but I'm wearing my Bob Marley shirt today, right? So, because I want you to take us to Jamaica, because
Okay.
I'm really excited about this retreat. And what I'm really interested in learning, because you've been doing this for the past 8, almost 10 years, what have been some of the revelations and feedback from those who have participated in these retreats? From the healing work that happens. Let's talk about that. Like, take me to Jamaica. I'm speaking in existence that I might not be there in November, but I'm trying to get there in January, February, the next one in 2019. But we talk about Paradise Health, and when I think of Jamaica, paradise.
Well, one of the things,
Paradise.
the main thing, and this is why you would go on any retreat, is the word retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to really almost isolate yourself from all the stress,
Mm-hmm.
from all the pressures, to really, get away,
Mm-hmm.
truly, but intentionally. I mean, we can all go on vacation, but to do it intentionally with a focus. So the focus here, obviously, is to eat raw, all the food prepared by myself, and to also, I'm educating, I'm doing classes. So it's very intentional. It's very, it's for at least seven days straight, to get that rhythm and to fall into that, in terms of being in an environment that's like so just wonderful, paradise. It's beautiful.
Paradise. Oh my
So we really have created this system where for, again, a week you can just really separate, and then hopefully, because even on a fast, just like similar to a fast, because you really do that with a fast, even if you're amongst and you're doing all the things that you're doing, like going to work and family and all that, it's really, obviously, the most important thing is what you do after that.
Yes.
So when you come off the fast, you want to improve something, because it's like, look, for 7 days, 14 days or longer, all I've been doing is juice. If I can go that long in doing just juices and coconut water, then I can eat raw plant-based, like, for the rest of my life, and be good. But we're against traditions and family and relationships and holidays.
Well, tell me this, Khepra. I can't afford to do a raw diet.
I would say that I would say that you're lying to yourself, for sure.
But for those who really cannot afford, I mean, let's be like, okay, I am definitely a proponent of, you can not afford to eat a certain lifestyle, because going to the doctor, you have different health ailments.
Somebody is footing those bills, and if you're like, okay, let's say you're in the system,
Mm-hmm.
you're using Medicaid and EBT,
Mm-hmm.
and these things, people, there's still choices.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it may not be the freshest, organic,
Mm-hmm.
most organic thing, but there are still choices within those options.
Right.
That you can do better. And
Yeah.
it really becomes about sacrifice, because these same people are wearing,
That's so true.
they have material items.
Yeah.
That cost. Yeah. They have smartphones. They have things. It's about sacrifice. It's about sacrifice.
It really, and it is a true sacrifice. And I'm glad you say that, because it's almost meeting them where they are. Like, because someone may not be able to afford the true organic leafy green,
but they don't want to pay. They'd rather, because it's not priority.
You hit it on the nail, and you're right. I can't fight with you. It's not priority.
It's not priority.
There are other things that are priority, but that health is not a priority.
No, I could tell you, when I used to shop at Shoppers, and I filled up my cart, and the bill would be $100-something, and then when I would go to Whole Foods, one bag would be $100-something. That was that was the difference.
That's real talk.
So, yes. I mean, anybody that knows me. And now I have a business and I'm buying everything wholesale. But like when I was a retail consumer, like everyone else, if I wanted something like an expensive nut butter, nut butters can be $25 a jar.
I was gonna say,
and if I wanted it,
okay?
if I wanted
and
it,
the raw,
I bought it.
The raw.
Exactly.
I will tell you this one thing.
Like, I was getting the best olive oil and the best nut butters and avocado and because these were my protein. Like that was my steak.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the raw plant, especially the raw plant base, like my 5 master fruits: avocado, olive, jackfruit, durian, and last but not least, very fitting, ackee, which native, Jamaica has
well,
become the place for
if we're fixing
ackee.
our internal selves, I believe that a lot of the external problems that we have, whether it is finances, relationships, like it will help, to aid whatever those challenges are. So like you said, it's a sacrifice, and I feel like for me, I know if I don't feel good, I can't do good. Right. I can't connect with you well. Right. I can't have this conversation. Right. Exactly. I can't work, I can't make the money I need to make if the inside of me does not feel good. So that starts with the internal health. So absolutely.
As within, so without. So we need to focus, obviously, within. We go within first. Mm-hmm. Proper food, nutrition, thoughts, ideas, just thinking and being one with who we are and understanding that, and just appreciating life and living it to its fullest. And obviously, you are what you truly are what you eat. Because when you study like Chinese medicine and some of our ancient health traditions, you start really keying in on specific organs, because we think about our brain and we think that our brain is it, but it's really not. It's really all of our organs, because our organs all have a brain, and they all communicate with it. Because I always like to say with our fast, at least during that first day or two, your body will try to trick you.
As I say, do some tricky stuff.
Right, it will trick you. It will trick your
head
mind.
Starts hurting.
No, it will trick your mind on why you should break it.
Right,
why
exactly.
you should break that fast.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's almost like our own minds are our own worst enemy.
You right about that. Well, I tell you this one thing. Paradise Health, like I said, I'm almost halfway through the book. I want to buy every coconut on the planet. And that's no lie. Food can be a very judgmental space. And I'm reminded of that. And I tell people that it can be very judgmental. And you start where you are. And I would be the first. I've actually done a raw food diet before. And the benefits were amazing. And just like full transparency, like I just couldn't believe it. I'm talking painless periods to like heavy to like again. I can be an open book, but just the benefits.
We gotta be open about those things.
I could not believe the way that I felt. Is a raw food diet for me? I don't know. I'm not there yet. But I think I'm on this road to Paradise Health though. Like I really am. Just having these conversations are inspiring. So.
Well, the most important health habit is to fast. It's to, no matter how you eat, you eat raw, whatever it is, fasting is the first medicine. It's God's true medicine. If there's anything, as we wind up, I know we're getting close to winding down here, if there's anything you take away,
that's biblical.
Right. Right.
I don't care
the
which
body
Bible you read.
is designed to heal itself.
Right.
So we talk about the cycles. Again, fasting. Like I haven't had juice or water yet today. Okay? I'm not thirsty. I'm not hungry. Why? Why should I just start to... And the thing is, so every day you can extend that night fast into the day. Once a week, we can fast. Once a month, especially women, they can do it along that time, that moon cycle time. And then definitely once a quarter. You know, my body shut down with the fall equinox, because the equinox and solstices are pivot points. It's almost like if you're driving in a car and you have to turn, you have to come to almost a complete stop. So that's what happens with the change of season. And my body just now is getting to a point where I felt, okay, I'm back on the fast lane. Because during the equinox, and my body is super sensitive to this. It's like I know, like I fasted almost off and on for 2 weeks in September, because I could feel that my body wasn't breaking down the food the same way. I was feeling weak. I was feeling stiff. So it's like when you're feeling those things, again, the first thing you always want to say when something's not right, stop eating or eat less. And I'm telling you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Listen to your body and fast.
Right. So
I'm going to go and buy every coconut on the planet. For sure. Thank you, Khepra. It's part 2. Like I said, we can do part.
Yeah,
we can
do
back. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm bringing you back. Okay, these conversations are really awesome. All right, sorry guys, we got to wrap up, but this has been great. Thank you so much again, Chef Khepra. Thank you all for tuning in. We're here live on Full Service Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. and you can access each episode after it airs at fullserviceradio.org. Be sure to follow me at Food Talks DC on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also follow Chef Khepra anew on Instagram, or Chef Khepra.
Chef Khepra, and then Khepra's Raw Food Juice Bar. YouTube.
He has a YouTube channel.
YouTube.com/Khepra.
All right. Or you're an edible activist. I would love to have you on my show. Please send me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me at melissa@goodsoulevents.com. Thanks, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Peace.
Thanks for listening to this program on Full Service Radio, broadcasting and recording from the Line Hotel in Adams Morgan, Washington, D.C. Full Service Radio programming can be accessed live and archived on fullserviceradio.org. Our talk programming is available on most podcast apps like iTunes and Stitcher, and our DJ sets are available on mixcloud.com/fullserviceradio. Full Service Radio features over 30 weekly shows and over 50 local hosts covering every topic imaginable. If you want to be a guest or get involved, email us at info@fullserviceradio.org. Follow us on Twitter at FullServiceRDO, on Instagram and Facebook at Full Service Radio. Thanks for listening.